Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Mustang 3 ship. So, like I said in previous videos, the 3 that succeeds, not proceed. Basically what I'm trying to say is, if you ever find a ship that has numbers after it, it just denotes a higher or lower tier. Aesthetically, the ships will be exactly the same. In this case, I have the Mustang 3, which has an A class reactor of 26. If you find a Mustang 2, it might only have a 24 reactor, and then the Mustang 1 might have a 20 reactor. Aside from that, all ships will be aesthetically the same. The only difference will be the stats and the price. So just looking at it, it looks like a very familiar ship. It seems to be the bigger brother to the Frontier. It's basically like the only real difference is like it's wider by 1. It's the same exact layout, same engine, same everything. It's a pretty nice looking ship. I quite like the Frontier. I always found that it was maybe a little small, so this is a decent kind of alternative to it. So if we check out its stats, it is got a fuel of 200, which is pretty good. Like I've said in previous videos, anything over 200 is good. You can jump around without needing to hop. It's got a hull of 787, which is quite good for an A-class vessel, considering there's like not a lot to it. It's got a cargo capacity of 675, which again, for an A-class vessel, this is, I'm assuming at the price point, this is supposed to be a kind of an entry-level vessel when you move up from the Frontier. In my case, obviously the price is a little bit more expensive, but if you find the Tier 1 version, it'll be a lot cheaper. So it's a decent cargo capacity to have. You know, like obviously you can improve it, but I think it's a good kind of starter. And then if we look at the modules, we got an A-class reactor with 26 power. Now, looking at the layout of the weapons, I don't think that's going to be very good power-wise. I would probably recommend upgrading the reactor immediately, just so you can utilize all those weapons. It's only got a crew of 2, which is quite low, but obviously if you like this style of ship, you can see there just barely, there seems to be a 2x1 Novatech habitat. You could swap that, whatever it is, out for a crew compartment and get a little bit more. Jump range of 15 light years, which is extremely low, like extremely low. In this current stock configuration, you're going to be jumping to, you can explore the settle system, but, oh, wrong button, apologies. But after like once you get into the kind of the mid level of the game, I would upgrade that immediately. Weirdly, it's got quite good shields for an A-class, 715. I believe that's like close to being the highest. I think the highest shield in the game, A-class shield, is about 900, I believe. So they skimped on the reactor and the jump drive, but they definitely didn't skimp on the shields and even the hull. And then weaponry, we got lasers, particles, and missiles. We have multiple laser weapons mounted there on the top. They are the singed lasers, I believe. Very power hungry. And then we've got those 2 missile pods underneath. And then we've got the single nose or chin mounted particle. So it'll be interesting to see how the power management works out. So the price of this was 147,580 for me. Now this is, I have perks that lower the cost. So if you're purchasing this Mustang 3, you might have to pay a little bit more. And obviously if you're purchasing a lower tier Mustang, it'll be significantly cheaper. I'm going to purchase it real quick and then show you where I bought it. So I found this ship in neon here, talking to this dapper gentleman in purple and blue. Or this is in neon, I apologize, it's Paradiso. So here's Paradiso here. We are in the Parima 2 planet there, and the Parima system. And here it is here. There's Volai, and there's Alpha Centauri. Now, this is the sort of ship where you can kind of find it in any of these vendors. So what I do is, you can come to this one, and if... Excuse me, Sam, try to do something. If you come to this one, and it's not there, I would fast travel to Mercury, and then land on Mercury, and then hop in another seat in your ship that you can wait, and then wait 24 hours. That 24 hours on Mercury is about 3,000 hours in-game. So that will reset the inventory and you can find it here. But it could take a couple of attempts. Anyway, let's go check it out. It's got quite a cool profile. I really like those early Novatech vessels. I love those like landing gear. Looks like it's meant to hop. gonna get a quick glamour shot of this. Try not to break my legs. There we go. So it's quite cool. I think the only real issue I have is I don't like how elongated that like bridge is. If you've seen some of my other videos, specifically the video where I made the custom gunship, I used that bridge, but I kind of merged it back a little bit so that it wasn't so kind of exposed almost. But yeah, all in all, it's a pretty cool ship. You can definitely tell it's an older vessel. The thing is, Novatech ships, they tend to have these big, like, kind of, you know, like, maneuverable thrusters back when it was probably a lot harder to get ships into space. But if we head in here underneath, just mind the gun, we have the Novatech entryway. I really like this entryway. Yeah, grab all that stuff. We got little windows here, which is quite nice. So up we go into the ladder. There's not going to be much in this, just because I think there's only a 2x1, but we shall see. Okay, so immediately we have 2x1 living quarters, which is pretty decent. Like for this sort of ship, if it's your first time, like, you know, your first buy, it's not a bad ship, or it's not a bad component to have. You know, kind of more role play. You got room for like a crew or two. This is kind of overloaded currently. And then if we take this door behind here, we got a 1x1 storage room with the docking port there. So yeah, if we come back through this area, like I was saying earlier, if you want to use this as a kind of an all-around vessel, like, you know, you want to fly it and make it better, first thing I do after the engine and the reactor would be to put this into a control station. So you get, like, I think 4 extra crew. Anyway, so we come into the bridge, and this, like Nova Galactic, the bridges are phenomenal. They're, like, just really cool. This makes me feel like I'm flying a Pelican in Halo. You got that kind of that really cool cockpit there. And then obviously back here, we've got 2 seats for your crew. Sarah was very quick getting up there. Goddamn. We got like a co-pilot seat here, and then you've got your navigator here. I really like how they're like kind of in their own little section, which is really cool. Okay, so let's hop in it. Let's take it into space. See how she handles. And then afterwards, we will do a teardown. So yeah, let's go. I'm expecting the power management to be... Okay, it's not too bad. Those big Nova Galactic lifting thrusters are so cool. It's kind of interesting because this looks like one of the first ships that were ever made, because it has those back engines there that like look like they kind of swivel, even though I don't think they do in the game. But it's just very cool. Anyway, so I have a perk that increases my pips by 5. So for the sake of this video, we're not going to be using 5 pips. But what I'm going to do is we'll put a little bit here. So weaponry, we've got 2 laser weapons there. We've got that missile, double missiles underneath, and then we've got the particle launcher. That's probably the best weapon on it. We'll do a quick speed test. We've got a base speed of 150, which is kind of expected. And then we have a boost speed around 600. Okay, so she's quite nippy, quite nimble. So now we'll do a quick agility test. Do a quick pitch. Okay, pitch is probably like a 6 maybe. It's above average, but it's nothing to write home about. Yaw, we have... Yeah, yaw's like... probably like a 6-2, and then the roll. The roll's not too bad. All in all, it's a pretty cool ship. So let's hop down to the planet now and do a teardown, just so you can see how it's made. Okay, so here we are in the shipbuilder. We have tore it down into 3 sections. So on the top here, we only have this Nova NG2 Docker for a habitat module. And then for the weaponry, we have a pair of these Singe P 4 megawatt pulse lasers from Lightsite, A-class, 1500 range, 6.65 fire rate, and 16 shield damage and 4 power. They're quite power hungry, but they're not bad. They kind of look... In my opinion, they look nicer. They're more aesthetically pleasing than some of the other lasers. As for the shield here, we have a deflector SG50 shield generator from Sexton System, A class, requires 7 power and 715 shield health. Let me just check here. Now I'm at Parima, or at Paradiso, so they're probably not going to have a higher shield, but we can double check. Oh, they do actually, okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is, I believe, this is the highest tier in its class, so this is like a one-up from this. This one that comes with the ship costs 14,560. This one is 18,000. So for an extra 4k, you're getting an extra 145 shields. Now, obviously, for A class, you can go, I think you can go higher. It's probably not going to show me here, but I know there is like an A class shield that like gives you like 900, I want to say. But anyway, and then at the back here, we have this NG170 grav drive from Nova Galactic. It's an A class. It requires 9 power, 14 jump thrust. I would swap that out immediately. Like, grav drives aren't that expensive, I don't think. Let me see. Like, if we were to, let me see here. We're gonna see what would be a good, there, like this one here, for instance. So this one, the Nova Galactic one, is 4.7k. This one's 10k. It's more expensive, but if we were to replace it, this would instantly jump us up to 29 light years. So you definitely would have, you know, extra if you were to upgrade that. And then for the aesthetics, we have a single Nova Cowling 1 LTF from Nova Galactic. We have a Nova Bracer. We have 2 of these Nova Cowlings, 1 LPF, port forward and starboard forward. Now onto the belly of the beast, or the middle of the beast. We have this Magellan C2 cockpit from Nova Galactic. Gives 240 cargo and 2 crew station. And then behind that, we have this Nova Galactic living quarters 2x1. And then behind that, we have the Nova Galactic storeroom 1x1. So like I was saying earlier, if it was up to me, and I find that you're better off like kind of having the more crew the better, because the crew perks can make a ship phenomenally better. So I would probably swap out the I would swap out this for the Nova Galactic control station, as it would jump the crew up to 4, which is really nice. It's just nice to have more crew because it just makes the ship more effective. And then as for the modules, we have this 380T Stellar Orator reactor from Amandun, A-class 26 power. Now, if we look here, there's probably, so, is this the, this is probably the highest tier reactor from this company, but you can go way further. So obviously we have this, oh wait, no, A-class. Okay, it's not showing here, but I know for a fact there is an A-class reactor that you can get that's like 30, it's either 31 or 33 power, so I would recommend upgrading that immediately. So as for the weaponry, we have this was mounted under the nose, but I just pull it out. This is the PBO-50 Auto Proton Beam, A-class, 3600 range, 6.65 fire rate, 15 damage to hull and shields, and max power 4. These Proton Auto Beams are phenomenal. They're very powerful. Like, my main ship, when I'm trying to, like, just do menial tasks, like, say, for instance, looking for other ships, I just strap on a load of these and just go to town. You don't need to worry. Even on harder difficulties, they're very good. And then we have 4 of these landing gear, NG10 landing gear. There's a starboard 4, port aft, and starboard aft. And then we have 2 of these M30 Ulysses HE3 tanks, 100 grav fuel each. And then behind, on the back, we have 2 of these White Dwarf 2030 engines from Relodyne, A-class, 3 power each, 13,020 engine thrust, and 2,700 maneuvering thrust. Now, I'm probably not at the best place here, but I'm going to see, because I'm pretty sure there's better versions. What are we at here with these ones? Okay, so these are the 2030s. Does it only go up to 2030? I think it goes higher, but it's not showing me. Yeah, because currently the mobility is a bit lacking, and that's probably because these engines they don't have a lot of maneuvering. For anyone that doesn't know, this mobility is tied to your maneuvering thrust. It's like, there's like a calculation where it's like maneuvering thrust, and it takes your weight into consideration. But I'm like 80% sure there is like a 2040 and maybe a 2050 of these engines that are better. So obviously if you want a bit more speed, you can go that route. And then there's no aesthetic pieces on this side of the ship. And then finally, on the bottom, we have the NG6 landing bay from Nova Galactic. We have this Polo 2000 cargo hold that gives 435 cargo for Panoptes. And then we have a pair of these Sukisasu 19K missile launchers. A-class, 5100 range, 1 fire rate, which don't know why they ever list fire rate because they're all the same. 81.89 damage to shields and hull, and max power 4. Now these are quite pricey, power-wise. I don't really use missiles too much unless I'm like kind of feeling in the mood of, you know, like just missiling someone. But usually I go for like a cheaper missile. Let me see here if we have any. These ones are kind of my go-to here. The Atlatl. Now they provide the same amount of slightly less damage and slightly less range, but they're also only 3 power as opposed to 4 power. Then that's just me. Thing is, with missiles, you're kind of, it's more for aesthetic. Like just looking at them, these missiles would, since you can't color, you can't like color your weapons currently. These like kind of fit better if you're making a ship. You know, gray is easier to kind of blend in, so that's a good factor with them. But anyway, that was the ship itself. Let me know what you guys think. If any of you guys ever flown this sort of ship before, would you fly it? Because I know, like I said before in other videos, a lot of people, myself included, used to basically fly really big ships. You know, like kind of like frigates and like destroyer-esque ships, and then like decided, you know, let's try some smaller ships. So I'm interested to see if anybody has been rocking this ship or a ship like this. You know, like a Frontier 2.0. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in this sort of content and you want to see more. And also, don't forget to check out my other reviews. Bye.